Hi everyone, this is Maite. In this video I want to talk about breastfeeding because it's one of those topics where it would be good to talk about it more. Where a lot of people and a lot of women assume that it's a very simple, straightforward thing to do. Once you have a baby, that you just put your baby on the breast and milk will flow and the baby will drink and everything will just magically be okay and wonderful. When in reality, it can be quite different and breastfeeding can be quite a struggle. So just to give everyone, and especially women who might have children one day, more background and information about breastfeeding so that it's not, a total surprise if you do run into some of the points I'm going to be talking about, so that you're already a bit prepared for it and can also for yourself do more research about it if you want to. The first point I want to share is that, well, you're not going to have milk come out of your breasts immediately once you have a baby. What actually comes out first is something called colostrum. So colostrum is this rich, sticky substance, and you actually have and produce very little of it, meaning when you first feed your baby, you're not going to have milk come out, but you're going to have little bits of colostrum come out. And the colostrum doesn't look white. It can look clear or it can even look yellow. Mine was clear, looked kind of like water, so it looked like empty, like there's something wrong with the milk, but it's actually what it's supposed to be because you don't have normal breast milk yet. You first just have the colostrum. And it's this very rich, very nutritious substance to help kickstart your baby's health in the first few days of being born. For most women, breastfeeding is not something that comes naturally, meaning like some instinct kicks in and you automatically know how to place your baby by the breast, and you know exactly how it's supposed to look like, and you know exactly what you're supposed to do to help your baby get it to the sucking motion and do everything that the baby's supposed to do for breastfeeding to be a success. For most women, that's just not how it works. You do need some time to figure out how you can best place your baby on your breasts. Because for me, for instance, for one breast I would use one particular hold, and for the other breast I would place her in a different hold, because my two breasts are different, and for many women, two breasts are not the same, and you might need a different approach for one than the other. A lot of people assume that for a baby to suck milk they just have to put the nipple in the mouth and suck with their mouth. But that's not the case. You need a proper latch, and I'm not gonna go into too much about what a proper latch is and how to achieve it. There's many videos out there already done by experts who can help you, but this is just so you know that there is such a thing as a proper latch and such a thing as a not so great latch, and it has different consequences, which I'll also get into a bit more later. But yeah, for a proper latch, the baby needs to have a bigger portion of the breast in the mouth, and the motion actually is done with the jaw, not with the lips, or not with the lips alone. So, that's things that you have to learn about. It's things that you have to become aware of and check if your baby is doing it correctly or not. And for Cynthia, for instance, she wasn't sucking very well in the beginning. I would place her by my breast and she would maybe suck once or twice and then fall asleep. So she really needed time to practice and get into it for herself as well. She had to learn that she also needs to do something. She had to learn what exactly to do and then keep doing it. Breastfeeding can hurt. If you Google and research breastfeeding and if it hurts, everyone will tell you that it doesn't hurt or that it's not supposed to hurt if you do it properly. But it takes some time sometimes to learn how to do it properly. See, when the baby latches on, they create a suction with their mouth, and if they didn't suck and they're not in the right place on your breasts, there's going to be consequences. You're going to have hickeys and you're going to have sores, and in the beginning your nipples are like new to all of this as well. I mean, they're just like these soft, sensitive parts of your body, and they can get sore really quickly. It was only after some time that my nipples seemed to toughen up and be able to handle little mistakes from me or from Cynthia much better, that if she would latch on incorrectly, that it doesn't hurt that much or it doesn't create an actual sore. But in the beginning, if she wasn't placed exactly in the right way, or she wasn't latching on exactly in the right way, and she would suck, it would create little wounds. And that's what, for many women, makes breastfeeding really tough. Because now you have to feed your baby while you have these wounds on your nipples. And it hurts. I mean, it can really hurt. And for me in the beginning, these wounds also took quite some time to heal. I would use creams and homeopathic support to assist the body and assist the breasts in healing again, but it did take some time. And in the meantime, your baby still needs to feed. Like, you don't have a choice. If you want to do breastfeeding and you want to teach your breasts and your body to produce the milk and, get everything going, then, you have to put your baby on. And if you have sores and it's really, really sore, I did use formula to top up the baby because sometimes the milk just wasn't coming. My milk production was also low, so sometimes she just, she would try and just not be full enough and want more, and there just wasn't more, and then we would top her up. Or if the pain was just too bad at some point, and that's the moment where I wanted to give up, because here I was in pain, trying to feed Cynthia, and she was upset. She wasn't getting enough food. She was crying. She was stressed. I was uncomfortable. I was in pain. I was stressed. It was just the overall terrible, horrible type of situation. I mean, here you have a tiny baby who is dependent on you for their life, and it's not working out, and you can't give that. And there's pain involved, and stress, and crying, and anxiety. It's that whole kind of traumatic experience that you just don't want, and you wouldn't wish it on anyone. But that's what you're in. And then you see your partner, because then I would hand her over to my partner to please top her up with formula. And there is this painting, this tableau of just total peacefulness when she's drinking from the bottle and drinking her formula. So I had a moment of, why not just do that? Why go through this trouble of this breastfeeding? Maybe I just shouldn't do that. Maybe it's just not for me, And it's really thanks to the people and the women that I've talked to and whose stories I've heard where they said, don't give up. You're gonna want to give up. Just don't give up. But I knew in that moment that this was a moment where I was really about to throw in the towel and just walk away from the whole breastfeeding story. Because it was hard and it was not pleasant, and it's not what you would expect. Breastfeeding is, and being a mother is. you kind of, that's just not the picture you have in mind, you know. It's not the picture that's also being painted, and also why I think it's important more women share these stories and make these videos and get the word out there, especially for all the young ladies and girls, you know, to just know, you know, be prepared. It might not be what you think it is. At least then you don't get your hopes up, and then you don't have the whole emotional trauma with it as well, of having your dreams shattered and coming down from this really high cloud, crashing into reality where everything's different, you know. That just makes everything even more difficult. So yeah, in that moment I knew, okay, this is my moment that I want to give up. It's just a moment. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna acknowledge that this sucks, that this hurts, and I do not enjoy it, but it's a moment. And you know, I'm gonna just breathe and continue going. I don't want to give up on breastfeeding because of the benefits. Your milk production might be low. It's something I also mentioned already before, which was the case for me, that milk production took quite some time to get started and for the milk to come in. And once the milk comes in, your breasts are huge and hard and hot. That's another thing you might not know. With the actual coming in of the milk, all of a sudden, it kind of transforms your breasts altogether. It's a very odd experience. But before the milk actually comes in, you know, that's also what makes breastfeeding difficult sometimes, is that, you know, the milk is just not there to feed your baby. And the baby's hungry and the baby's crying, and you just don't have the milk to feed her, to give to her. And, you know, I was talking about wanting to give up and how I decided not to, and to just breathe and, you know, take it as just one moment that is crappy and I just have to get through. It was actually that night that then my milk came in. And once the milk came in, everything became easier. She was able to eat it, you know. It's like everything suddenly made so much more sense for her with the milk coming in. It's what she wanted. The sores on my nipples would also heal so much faster because of the properties of breast milk, because it has these amazing healing properties. It has all kinds of awesome properties. And, you know, because the milk flowing through your nipples, it just kind of healed them up in no time. And after that, they also, like, toughened up, like I said, where they seem to be able to handle a lot more. So that if there was an oopsie or a mistake, it didn't create, like, a wound that you now had to deal with, and that would, you know, stay with you until the next feed and possibly get worse. Everything would just heal up right away, and then you can move on and start new. It was always like a clean slate after every feed. So yeah, that's milk production, and you know how awesome milk also is. Maybe that's the next topic. Breast milk is awesome, and I think that's also why it is so difficult for women who do give up on breastfeeding, knowing that it is superior in every way to formula. It's exactly what your baby needs. It's got all the properties your baby needs to thrive, to grow, to be healthy. And formula is just, it pales in comparison. But, you know, because breastfeeding is not always easy and can be a struggle, I mean, I can imagine it's even harder for women to, when you do give up. Because, I mean, I was there. I was just a hair removed from being part of that club of, you know, women who give up on breastfeeding and go with formula. And I know it would have been, I would have tortured myself over it, because, you know, you want the best for your kid, and breast milk is the better option by far. So yeah, rather be prepared. Do your research on breastfeeding. If that's what you want to do, then, you know, prepare yourself. Like anything you would like to be successful at, and you want to, you want to create and achieve in your life, you're gonna prepare yourself. So do the same with breastfeeding and you'll be fine. You might need some tools. That's also something that you might not know about. My nipples were flat, so I needed some tools, which was nipple shields. It's like this silicone plasticky thingy in the shape of a nipple that you place on top of your nipple to help your baby latch on, because when the nipple's flat, it's like the baby's missing that impulse and that stimulus to start sucking and, you know, start the motion, because there's no nipple that's telling them, I'm here, this is where you're supposed to be sucking. And after a while you actually, I mean, that was my experience, I didn't need to use them anymore, because it's like, as I was using the shields, the nipple gets strained at the same time to kind of start standing out more. So after a while I didn't need to use a shield anymore, where in the beginning I would only use a shield and then start the feed with the shield and then take it off in the middle, and then, you know, slowly like that train my breast and a nipple, and it didn't need the help anymore in the end. Oh, here a tip is to check different sizes. If you find the nipple shield is a bit sore when you use it, if it's hurting, then try a different size, because I started with a pretty big size. I didn't know there was different sizes. I just asked a friend to go and get me those nipple shields, because that's what the nurse was saying I needed. So I got a size. I didn't know there was different sizes, and then you know, it was actually kind of uncomfortable and a little sore, and then I found different ones. I wanted to try different ones, and I saw there was different sizes, and I tried a smaller size, and once I tried those, it was so much better. No more pain. So that's also something that is good to know, that if you have to use the nipple shields and you find it sore, don't give up on it right away. Rather see if there's different ones, different makes, different sizes. Also play around with how you place it on your breast, which angle and stuff like that. I found that helped as well. Yeah, so that's about the things that I wanted to share about breastfeeding. That was also the most prominent for me in terms of things that I didn't know about it. There's a lot more to be said though about breastfeeding and breast milk, so please do go and look for more videos if you're pregnant and you want to breastfeed, or if you're planning to have a baby, then do, you know, check out some other videos and some other websites to get an idea of do's and don'ts. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.